I make Matar Paneer whenever I need a bowl of instant comfort. It's a curry of Indian cottage cheese and pops of sweet green peas in creamy tomato masala. Unlike most cheeses, paneer doesn't melt once it's cooked, which means that it's perfect for pan frying. For this recipe, you can use either shop-bought or homemade paneer. I like to cut it into bite-sized cubes. If you don't have a shop that sells paneer near you, you can also make your own using whole milk and lemon juice or vinegar. I'll put my easy video tutorial for making your own paneer at home in the description box below. If you're vegan, you can always use tofu in place of paneer. Having said this, I find that tofu doesn't always have that lovely creaminess we expect from paneer, which is why I've developed my own vegan paneer recipe. You can find this in my brand new cookbook, Sanjana Feasts, which is out next year. It's filled with 80 delicious vegetarian and vegan recipes, and you can pre-order it right now using the link in the description box below. I like to pan fry my paneer on all sides until it's lightly golden brown. While its roots are firmly grounded in northern India, Matar Paneer is a famous dish around the world. Today it's a star item on restaurant menus from the UK to Canada and the US. If you'd like to make a lighter version of this dish, then that's perfectly fine too. You can also choose to air fry or grill your paneer. In fact, it's particularly delicious when you barbecue it. To make the paneer super soft, I like to give it a soak in boiling hot water just for 10 to 15 minutes while I get on with making the rest of the curry sauce. My sauce or gravy begins with toasting whole spices. I'm using coriander seeds, cumin seeds, fennel seeds, a whole black cardamom pod, and cloves. Toast these up in a dry pan just until they start getting aromatic. Do this over a low heat and keep the spices moving all the time because we don't want them to burn at any point. Toasting the spices like this releases some of the oils that are locked inside, so when we grind them, this masala powder is going to be so flavorful. I'm going to be honest with you and say that grinding your own masala powders isn't always possible, nor is it always necessary. Yes, the flavours of a home ground masala blend are more pronounced, but mellow can be good too. It just depends on what my schedule and energy looks like on any given day. I save the ritual of grinding my own bespoke spice blends for the dishes I look forward to the most, the ones I really want to savour. Now that our spice blend is ready, we're going to get on with cooking the rest of our curry, and this begins with a little more oil and a whole cinnamon stick. In goes some finely chopped onions, and these will cook much quicker if you add a pinch of salt while you're cooking them, which draws out the moisture from the onions, causing them to brown a little more speedily. They're looking good and brown, but they're still not done, so we're going to carry on cooking these a little bit more. I'd like to say please be patient while you're browning your onions, because browned onions really are a core building block of any fantastic North Indian curry. Now this is what the onions should look like before you start adding aromatics like garlic and ginger. These deeply caramelized onions provide sweet umami flavors which are offset by the spiciness and the sourness of the rest of the curry. Even though this Matar Paneer recipe is easy enough to make on a busy weeknight, it still feels super special. The aromas coming from the pan will remind you of your favorite Indian restaurant or takeaway, which means that you can eat this incredible Indian meal on a budget. Smooth, luxurious and creamy, just like all good North Indian curries should be. For this Matar Paneer, you can use either tinned chopped tomatoes, peeled plum tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, or tomato passata. I choose the latter for speed and ease. Passata or sieved tomatoes already has the seeds and skins removed from the tomatoes, giving you a smooth and luxurious creamy sauce without any of the blending or sieving. If you haven't used it before, you can find it in any big supermarket, either in a bottle, a jar, or in a carton. Give everything a really good mix, and while you're bringing the tomatoes to a simmer, we're going to add in our ground spices, including the ones that we pre-ground before, as well as some others, including turmeric, chili powder, garam masala, salt and sugar. The sugar is not to make it sweet, it's to balance any acidity from those tomatoes. Now this needs a really good mix, and over a medium heat we want to cook this with a lid on for around 10 to 15 minutes. Keep checking it to make sure that the bottom isn't burning. After around 15 minutes it's going to look a little bit like this. The sauce will have thickened and you can adjust that consistency with a little bit of hot water later on. The most important thing at this stage is that those spices have had the chance to get to know each other in the pan and mellow out a little bit. To this spicy tomato masala, we're now going to add in some cream and just a touch of water to make it smooth and saucy. Give everything a really good stir. This is looking like the right consistency to me since it doesn't need too much more cooking, but if you want it a little bit on the soupier side, then you can add in a touch more cream or water. I usually serve my Matar Paneer with either roti, naan or paratha, but if I'm serving it with rice, I like to have the sauce a little bit on the thinner side. This is looking and smelling so good, and at this point I'm going to add in my drained paneer, which was soaking in that hot water if you remember, and some frozen peas. I almost always have frozen peas to hand, and they are so delicious and frozen as soon as they're picked, so they're really fresh. They don't really need any cooking, so all you need to do is pop them straight from the freezer into the dish and they will kind of mingle with that warm paneer in the hot sauce, and everything's going to get heated through before we serve anyway. The final things I've added are some kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves, some freshly chopped coriander and some fresh green chilies, which are totally optional. Heat this through and your Matar Paneer masterpiece is now ready to serve to your nearest and dearest, and most importantly to yourself. As I mentioned earlier in this video, my cookbook is now ready for pre-order and you can grab your copy by tapping the link in the description box below. It's called Sanjana Feasts, Modern Indian Meals to Feed Your Soul, 80 delicious vegetarian and vegan recipes. Please show it some love by pre-ordering your copy wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time for a brand new video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.